Well, I'm far too lazy to put any work into a music video, so.
But it doesn't need, clearly it's working well enough. Like
Exactly.
everyone, when we see a pixelated thumbnail, we're all just like, oh, I'm in.
What an artist. He was like, I don't think these are singles. And I was like, that hurts my feelings, bro. And then, you know, later on that day, I was like, I don't think these are singles. And I had to like kind of go back to the drawing board completely from zero and being like, all right, I'm going to write a song with just, now I don't mean to fucking jerk my own shit, but I will say.
We're here in the Gaucho restaurant of the O2 Arena, mere hours before Sleep Token are about to headline their biggest gig they've ever played in the UK. And before them is the very excellent Bill Murray. And I'm so enthused to have the chance to chat to Johnny from Bill Murray about the band, this tour, and where they're at right now. So thank you very much for your time. Lovely to see you.
Now, appreciate it.
Pleasure. Now, I discovered your band through recommendations a couple of years ago.
Who?
And I've been obviously telling, who?
Yeah.
Keir, thanks for that, and Michelle Elise. And what's been quite fun is that anytime I'm then trying to tell other people about this amazing band, the conversation goes, oh yeah, they're called Bill Murray. You mean the actor? No, I mean, it's spelled B-I-L. Was that your arc from the beginning? You wanted that to be the conversation in the future? How did that name come to be, and is it playing out the way you'd hoped?
You're giving me far too much credit. I thought, Bill Murray, that's a fun band name. And then was like, how would people ever find this on the internet if I named it the exact same or spelled it the exact same way? I was like, well, I got to change the spelling. And that's about as deep as it gets.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it going to be a full success when one day people hear Bill Murray and they don't think actor, they think, oh yeah, of course you mean the band.
Unfortunately, I think that's the world we're headed into.
Unfortunately, or fortunately. This is a massive tour that's going on right now. Obviously, you're supporting Sleep Token, who are doing astronomically huge things. What do you think was the selection process? Do you have any inkling as how Bill Murray got to be the band that was supporting on this particular tour?
They just liked us.
That simple.
Well, it was one of those things where they were going to sell the tour out already. They didn't need anyone else. And so then the conversation was, well, who do you want? And then they were like, yep, Bill Murray. So
that's mad.
Grateful for them.
Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, it was cool because it's only two bands. So it's been like incredibly just enjoyable experience because, yeah, I don't know. It's only two drum kits out there. It's pretty fucking easy to.
Nice and
yeah,
simple.
They've been great too, like letting us put our gear on their truck and all that stuff.
Okay,
so it's just
that's
been,
great.
You know, you never expect anything from the headliner that they're going to help you out or anything, but they've done nothing but help us out. So
wow.
Yeah.
And generally, there's nothing you can expect from Sleep Token because they put so little out there of what they're doing, how they do things. They're kind of secretive. So you could probably go into this with no real expectations of how it's going to go.
I'm just coming into it like I'm grateful to be here, and whatever the fuck you guys want to do, I'm in. Like, you know.
I'm sure that was nice for them as well. They're like, well, great, we can craft the tour we want it to be. That's the way it is.
Yeah, and it's just been truly like one of my favorite tours I've ever done, which musicians say that all the time and lie, but I'm actually not lying.
Okay.
I really do. It's been an amazing experience.
Is this Bill Murray's first time in the UK under this project name?
Yep.
It's just how you wrote it up, right? We're going to just, the first time we go there, arenas.
Yeah. Skip any small venue and just go immediately into arenas. It's probably best case scenario. So, yeah, I mean, we don't want to tour all the time, so we say no to a lot of things because it's like it's got to be an absolutely amazing opportunity or we're not going to do it. And we're very selective with that process, but this was the easiest yes of all time. He got the call and was like, hey, do you want to do this? It's like, yeah, fucking obviously, dude.
Who would say that, sorry, it's not the right time?
Yeah, that's right.
Or Sleep Token, who are they?
Yeah, no, not me.
I get the impression that your favorite place to be musically is in the studio writing. So have you found it difficult to be on tour for an extended amount of time? And are you still writing while you're on tour, but you don't really have that same kind of studio setup, presumably?
I try to write lyrics like every other day, every day. Like at least something, you know, it could be like, I feel bad. Now I'm sad. And I'm like, shit, yeah, dude, that's a sick idea. Well, like, I try to write something just to keep the muscle, you know, good. But, yeah, I don't find I have a ton of time to write. But also, it's been really enjoyable. I feel like the thing I've realized is that Bill Murray fits into arenas really well.
That's
and
great.
that was like, you know, always the question was like, well, do we fit in arenas? And like the first like 3 shows, I was like, this is really where I think we shine and where we thrive and where I think like the recorded music comes out in its full glory, because we spend a lot of time crafting the bass tones and you know, making the low end sound absolutely massive. And then if we're in a 500 cap room, it's like you can't hear any of that because the speakers don't even go that low.
Yeah.
So now that we're finally in rooms where it's like, you know, this huge portion of our sound is now like able to be fully showcased, it's like this is always the way that I've wanted it to be. So
I've been hearing about that from folks in my Discord servers who've been on various gigs on this tour so far. And they've all said the moment of the Who in Better Hell is skeleton shaking.
Yeah,
like
that's the goal.
That's the goal. Everyone kind of knows, oh, I'll look out for that. And then they report back, yeah, it's fucking wild.
Yeah, it's funny because like, you know, most of the people in the crowd never heard of us. So like when that hits, everyone's like, "Oh my god!"
Is it an opener or is that somewhere?
It's the closer.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Nice
Yeah.
taste for the
On our headliner, it was our opener, and it was just like, we're playing too many bangers up front. We gotta spread it out a little bit more. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's a great one to end on, and it's like my favorite song to play. So,
nice.
Yeah. But it's been great to play. I mean, I love the studio, but I also like playing live as well. Obviously, it's a balance, but I don't think that we're not the band that's just on the road all the time, you know, because it's like I've seen bands go on the road forever and then their recorded work suffers because it's like you're not spending any time doing it.
Nothing
How
to write
could you
about.
expect? Yeah, I miss my girlfriend. It's like, how could you expect like to come back and be good at writing music if you haven't done it in like 2 years? Only if you're the best of the best, you can do that. But you know, most bands, like including myself, I need to be doing it a lot in order to keep that momentum going as far as like my progression in the studio as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
Did you have to do anything different to prepare for this? Because have you played arenas before or in festivals or anything before?
We played an arena with Baby Metal in Japan.
Oh, of course. Yeah, it was last year.
Yeah, that was this year, in May. So we played with them, and that was like truly the perfect primer for this tour. So once we got here, it was like, yes, these are big, but we've played. I think with Baby Metal, it was like 25,000 cap arena for 2 nights. So it was absolutely massive.
That is sizable.
Terrifying, because we didn't, so dumb. We didn't like, we were like, we're taking Skeleton Crew, you know,
Sure.
to the biggest gig we've ever played. And we get to the rehearsal space and we're like, fuck, we don't have like half the gear that we like needed, and we don't have any crew to like hook it up. So, you know, we got everything set up, ready to go, like 2 to 5 minutes before we got on stage. And that was the most terrifying moment. I'm a religious man, and believe you me, I was fucking praying to God, like, if this goes well, it is not because of us. Like, it is because of you. So, and it went amazing. Like, it was a great show. So that like primed us perfectly for Sleep Token. Nice. And now we have crew and, you know, all the kind of amenities of normal touring. And it's been great. So.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
And you've done a bunch so far on this tour with Sleep Token. Like, is this the last?
Stretch,
A couple to go.
4 more shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're back here again in March. When you're thinking about the arenas, are you going to be able to kind of shrink down back to the other kind of venue
yeah,
sounds?
dude. Yeah, I love arenas are amazing for sound and for like the performance experience, meaning I can like run around on stage like a dumbass and it's fun. But like I love smaller rooms because I can actually meet people. You know, after the show I'll just go out to the crowd and start drinking with people and hanging out with everybody, and I love that connection's important to me because, you know, when I'm writing music, I'm by myself for the most part, and it's very isolating. Like, you know, writing American Motorsports, I was, you know, by myself for like 6 months. Really didn't talk to anyone other than like my wife and family and friends, but I wasn't like communicating with the fan base or anything like that, and it's important. I love that interaction. So getting to go into like 500 cap rooms and enjoying that interaction, making friends with people too. So when we come back, I'm like, yes, I've got a list of friends that I can like hit up and we can hang out and do whatever. So
That's cool.
I'm excited to do that. I love talking to people from different countries too. Very, very fun. So that process is great for 500 cap rooms. Not so much, the 2,000 cap rooms or arenas.
Yeah.
It's a little harder.
Logistically very difficult.
Yeah, especially too, it's just a lot of people. So, you can only talk to people so much. So
yeah, especially if you're looking for kind of a real connection moments. You can't do that with 1,000 people that are hoping to say hello. It's different time-wise. And what I was seeing from your gigs, I could see online videos in the smaller cap venues, it seemed like just oozes of fun, like it's a house party. And I was wondering, how is that going to translate in an arena? It's got to be a different thing. Have you changed the way that you're projecting the music, the performance, so that you're aware of the person at the back of this like 40,000 person arena, for example? How do you reach that?
It's like a different sandbox in each level. It's essentially at its core the same. You're performing, but there's little like things that you do that are different for each one. It's like I would say 300, 500, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 arenas are all different flavors of the same. I'm essentially doing the same thing, but there's slight different things. Once you get into 1,000 cap rooms, you start to look up and wave to people. And then you get to arenas and you acknowledge the people in the back. Or like on this tour, there's a thrust, which is sick. So you can actually walk out into the crowd. And that's something like on the first show, I was like, I don't know how that, I know this tool is so powerful, but I'm like a baby with a chainsaw. I'm like, I don't know how to do this. So it's been really fun to learn how to use that and like, learn that kind of new element to the sandbox. And then, once we get pyro or all that stuff, it's that's what makes it fun, because like every level's different and there's a mastery to each level that's fun and enjoyable to be like, I want to get good at this. And the process is enjoyable. Every show you're like, oh, I'm going to change this. And like being able to be on this tour and get that many reps in an arena has been invaluable. So like, and it's just fun, dude. It's just like enjoy being up on that size stage and like around all those people. It's just like, it's been actually way more fun than I thought it was going to be, and actually way more intimate.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like interacting with the crowd with a thrust is more intimate in an arena than it is in like 1,000 cap room.
Interesting.
Because you can go literally like into the crowd and it's like they're almost 360 around you, except for like one little area, and you can kind of just interact with them, and that's one of my favorite things to do.
I imagine it's one of those things that until you do it, you couldn't really expect to know how it's going to feel and what's going to do. Because I would think, even just visualizing in my head, if you walk down there, like, great, I'll just walk up here. If I turn to my left, there's people looking at my back now.
Yes.
And you're like, how do I?
Yes, that is exactly
how do I navigate
right.
that?
That's right. It's like, you never feel more naked than when you're at the end of the thrust. And my issue was like, I would like walk down, like the first week, I would walk down to the end of the thrust and I'd be like, cool, I got here, and then like just fucking turn around. I didn't know like what to do when I like arrived, and I'm still figuring it out. But like at least when I'm walking down now, I look cool. Then I get there and I'm like, just turn around and go back. But yeah, it's weird to be like, you're used to there only being like 180 degrees of people being able to see you, and then you get to that 360, and I
guess it takes the wall away.
Yeah, it's cool, but it's powerful. It's enjoyable to be able to look all around you and see people who are really close, and or even being able to see people who have come to multiple shows. And,
oh wow!
Yeah, it's cool. You kind of get to like know them, and it's sweet. It's very enjoyable. So,
how has the reception been generally amongst the Sleep Token fans? I remember when this got announced, people were going like, "Well, Bill Murray and Sleep Token are completely different." I didn't see that. I thought there was going to be a large Venn diagram where they cross over.
Yeah.
So sonically, there's a darkness in one, and like the memes have been amazing, and like the bright jolliness of Bill Murray, but lyrically, similarly devastating.
Yeah. I think like, I honestly didn't know what to expect. Again, I was like, I'm happy to be here, but they have been like fantastic. Truly, like far better than I thought they were going to be. I thought it would be great, but there's moments in the set where you can start to see them be like, this is interesting. Like, this is cool. Yeah. And we haven't done support in like since COVID. So,
oh wow.
it's been fun to like be in a crowd of people and like introduce yourself to them. I love that. I love both, but it's been a really enjoyable process to introduce ourselves to them and them give us such a like warm welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose you're kind of in that way, it really tests the mettle of the songs, because if you have a crowd of people who are there to see you, they're like, yeah, we know the songs, we can get into it. But if they're large people who haven't heard them before, it's like, this is either really hooky and simple enough that they can get into it and cross over. Are you noticing certain songs that are landing well with an audience that isn't necessarily as aware? Are there any that stood out?
Yeah, so the big standout was Straight Through You, which I was kind of like, it just sounds like an end of the set song, so we put it in there. And that song is done really well as far as like audience reception on this tour. And we were all kind of surprised at that.
Is that because of Gabi's saxophone moments within that?
It's that. It's also just like, I genuinely don't know. Because I mean, even before that moment hits, they're, you know, vibing with it a lot more than I thought. I just kind of figured, this sounds like we're wrapping it up, so let's put it in the set. Because everything else is kind of like punch you in the face and then just slows it down a little bit. But I mean, that's a lot of the shows, they'll get the flashlights out and go, and I was shocked to see that on the first, you know, week or so. Like, oh, damn, all right, they dig this one. So,
do you have moments when the flashlights come out and you're like, oh, that is a lot of people, actually? If you
oh,
kind of
yeah, dude. I'm like, the flashlights come out, and I'm like, oh, fuck yeah. It's like, oh, we're in an arena, cool. Nice. But yeah, it's, you know, I always try to take like a mental picture when that happens, because you know, it's such a special thing.
It must be so hard to take in all of that.
I'm trying my best. I journal every day about the show, and you know, just whatever minutia it is, and then I wasn't really able to on the first week, but like, you know, once you get comfortable with things and get the gears going, to during the set be like, pay attention to what's happening, like, you know, take this in, it's cool, look at the crowd, look at the arena and the venue, and just enjoy it. And I've been able to do that a lot more, so I don't think you could ever do it as much as you would want to.
Yeah, it's impossible.
Yeah,
because at the same time, you've got something to deliver, you have something to focus on. If you completely lose yourself, and be like, oh, second verse.
Yeah, that's right. And it's like the more you can put that into just muscle memory, the more you can kind of enjoy the process and everything like that. But yeah, it's been, you know, as much as I can try to like take it in, I have been. And I think, you know, being older too, you're like, this is cool. Sure. You really get to appreciate things a lot more, because, you know, time is not forever. Yeah.
And also this project's been in the works for quite a while. There's something that's happened in the last year where it seems to have accelerated. From the inside on your end of things, did you notice a moment when you're like, actually this is starting to scale and be taking over people's attention in a way that hasn't done before?
I got good at writing songs. Now let me explain that.
Yeah, sure.
I view myself as a producer, because that's what I did for 10 years before BILMURI.
Yeah.
So what I think, I was taking songs that were pretty good and producing them masterfully. I didn't have the songs that were master level songs, at least as far as I could produce, until American Motorsports. And that process drove me fucking insane. Jameson knows. Because there was a time where I was like, oh, let's release these songs as singles. And, you know, Jameson and I had the conversation, like, I don't think these are singles. And I was like, this was like summer of 2023. And he was like, I don't think these are singles. And I was like, that hurts my feelings, bro. And then, you know, later on that day, I was like, I don't think these are singles. And I had to like kind of go back to the drawing board completely from zero and being like, all right, I'm going to write a song with just strummed guitar and vocal. And if it's good on that, it'll be good no matter what instruments we put on it. I can do the production thing every time, no problem. I cannot do the songwriting thing every time. And so for like 2-3 months, I wrote nonstop. You know, every day I would write a song, and it would fucking suck until I finally felt like I cracked through. I wrote Better Hell, and I was like, after like 4 months of writing, was like, this is good. And then I sent it to Jameson. He was like, this is good. And
this is a single.
Yeah. Well, and then once I'd kind of broken through that barrier, then a lot of the other songs started to come like within, that week or the next week, and it was like, we're cooking now. We've got some good stuff. And so now, like, I really attribute the breakout success of American Motorsports to the fact that at the core of it, the songs are good and the production's good. And it's like, I feel like, obviously everyone has their own opinions, but this is the first time I think Bill Murray has truly married like a full album of good songs and a full album of good production in one package. I'm not saying I haven't ever put out a good song before, but
sure, yeah, I was just about to say, like,
yeah,
I agree with everything you're saying about the recent album. It's full of heaters. It's a brilliant album. But I've also, having discovered it only a couple of years ago, I've gone back into the back catalog, and those songs grow and grow and grow over time.
Right.
Like, there's so much in them that I think you're doing yourself a disservice to say that they're not necessarily as good as the recent stuff. But
yeah. But I think there's like a couple good songs in each record. I feel like this is the first one I've put out where I think it's like truly every song I really stand behind and think that it's top tier songwriting. And also too, this is the first album I really co-wrote with people as well. So I've got to give those songwriters credit as well, because the way it worked too is I would go in and write with these songwriters and I would just get so much better even from just being around them. So like a lot of the work on my end was seeing what the standard of a great songwriter was and then being like, I've got to get to that point, or at least try my best to like hit that level. So,
but also through collaboration, you're going to get ideas that you wouldn't have come up with yourself, because that's the nature of everyone being a bit different. I was wondering, when it comes to drums, because I'm first and foremost interested in drumming in terms of musicianship, Josh Manuel was insane. Are you sending demos over to him with a basic drum beat, or are they empty and you're going like, put whatever you want over this? How do the drums come into the songwriting of Bill Murray?
I'll always have like some sort of drum beat because I love writing drums. It's like my favorite thing. I think, good drums can make a song a million times better. So I'll always have some basic thing. And then Josh I think was on 4 or 5 of the songs on American Motorsports. And some of them are him playing on his E-kit, and then some of them are playing real kit. So,
oh gosh, I did not detect the difference. I'm going to go back and try and figure it out.
So Drunk Enough and Miss Me are real. And then All Gas, Bow to Cashew are E-kit.
Well, they're from a year or so ago. Right? Did they get remastered to go on the album eventually, or because they were sort of before, right?
I think it's the same master to go on the album, but Josh, at that time it was pre-Columbia, so I was like, bro, I cannot pay you as much as I want to pay you. So he was just kind of like, yeah, we'll do it on the E-kit with All Gas in particular, and I think it kind of makes that song way more special to have that. But I had the basic drum beats, and he added all of the like sprinkles, or what I call them.
Oh yeah, the fills on there, so
nuts.
tasty.
Yes, and Bow to Cashew, he also crushed that song as well. So
nice. Yeah, so you're with Columbia from earlier this year. Now that was around the time there was the Lawn-Mower trilogy.
Yeah.
As we will call it from here on. And it was just getting bigger and bigger, and you ended up in a carbine harvester. The expectation there is like, how can you go bigger? And it's like, well, maybe through Columbia, you could build your own like super tractor or something.
Yeah.
But you seem to have gone the other way with the recent music videos, and I saw your conversation with Nick Nocturnal on his Twitch about like how much they would cost. And it was like $100, like, around that. In the new realm of Columbia, and you've got a different kind of backing than the rest, you seem to be sticking very much to what was worked for you, what you're enjoying, and the rest. You must. How do you come to that decision of, it could be fun to play with a lot of bigger toys, but then you seem to be doubling down in a lot of ways on what's interested you before and what's kind of worked there?
Well, I'm far too lazy to put any work into a music video, so.
But it doesn't need. Clearly, it's working well enough.
Exactly.
Like everyone, when we see a pixelated thumbnail, we're all just like, "Oh, I'm in."
What an artist! No, honestly, like the last record, I put a lot of time and money into the music videos, and they just did not do well. And I was just like, all the videos, like it honestly is almost like a sliding scale of like how much money did you not spend on this video versus how popular it's going to be. And the videos I spend no money on are the most popular.
That's wild.
Yeah, I know, which is fucking awesome.
Oh, it's extremely useful.
Yes, incredibly useful.
I'm sure Columbia are delighted.
Exactly. Well, they're confused. I mean, that conversation with Nick is 100% true. It was like, I mean, they were like, what is the treatment for the video? And we're like,
you said, what is
Reese and I are going to get together, we're going to vibe, and we're going to figure something out. And obviously Jameson had a ton of trouble explaining to them what the fuck that means.
What is it like when you're here's the final product?
Well, it was funny because they wanted us to make a treatment, and we were like, we don't have that.
The treatment is
Reese and I get together, I get a Monster Energy drink, and we vibe by the train tracks. And they were like, well, how much is it going to cost? And it was like $2,000, and they were like, you go, buddy.
Yeah, at that point, they don't mind.
They're like, we don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, do your little thing. No, I think that like, there's something interesting about an idea that's really simple and easy to execute, but it's just a good idea.
Yeah.
So like me mowing the lawn, simple, easy to execute, good idea.
It's now iconic. That's bonkers.
I know. I don't know why I'm pouring this into this.
You're welcome to.
But yeah, it's just like, I don't know, that seems to be, honestly, that's most in line with my personality anyways. I'm just like, music videos to me, I hate being in front of a camera for a music video because it's like I'm trying to act cool and I'm fucking just always I'm like laughing at myself, like, you know, looking into camera, like I hate it. It's so like it makes my soul cringe. So if I'm gonna be in front of a camera, I'm just gonna act like
you have to do it with a wink, otherwise.
Exactly. I don't feel, it doesn't feel authentic to me to try and act cool because it's just not my personality. So yeah, I'm like, low budget shit is very, very in line with who I am as a person.
Well, it's clearly translating very well and it's working.
Well, I'm glad it is because it's always nice when you are yourself and people are like, hey.
Yeah, it's very validating.
Yeah.
Now that song, Better Hell, the who that happens one time only after the first chorus, how is that put, like, what I love about that is it's fun and it's kind of joke, and you do like a squat during the music video, and there's a mirth to it, but also sonically it's incredibly satisfying. Like it actually works. It sort of balances that thing between sort of being memey and fun, but also it hits. What was the inspiration behind that moment in particular when you're writing it? Like, oh, should we do this or should we not do this? Actually, it works.
Now I don't mean to fucking jerk my own shit, but I will say, I had this like frustration with, like, I just want it to be fucking aggressive. Like, oh, there's never enough fucking bass, ever. There's never enough bass. So I just like that feeling of just like, God, like, why can there never be enough? Like, and it kind of got channeled into that part. But a lot of wizardry went into making it sound
I imagine,
like that, because do you mind if I go?
I'd love to know.
Okay.
It might be too nerdy for some. I'm desperate.
Okay.
Because that can't be just a raw vocal on its own, and you put some sub underneath it. Right? There's got to be more to.
So there's a sub drop that's happening, obviously, but what we did was we took, like, obviously I sung that, and then we put a reverb, obviously that huge reverb tail, and it sounds like the reverb tail is distorting. Like it's
almost like it's clipping the mic somehow. Like
that's actually a tremolo that's really fast on the reverb tail of the Who. So it's like it's not clipping anything, but it sounds like it's clipping shit because like the tremolo is kind of faking
simulates
distortion. It sounds like, oh my gosh, they turned the sub up so loud that it's just ducking the master bus out, but it's actually not. It's like it's just simulated because you hear the distortion of the reverb tail on the whoo.
Yeah, you hear what would normally be the consequence of that. But
but it's tremolo, so it's not actual distortion.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Cool.
It took us a while to get it right. It's like funny
working in the lab.
we
got to make this Who work,
like, dude. Well, also too, I did spend a lot of time on this record being like, I want to make moments for live. And I was like, if we get this right, this will be the sickest fucking thing live. And like the first show we played, it was like the entire crowd. It was like,
Oh, ooh. It's the opener and closer track of my Twitch live streams, and when that moment happens, the chat lights up with everyone all caps.
yeah.
It's very satisfying. I imagine you can all see the ripple of the sound across an arena of people.
You hear everyone go, whoa. It's cool. You'll hear it tonight.
Nice. I'm so stoked.
Yeah.
And then that song ends with like a dog bark moment,
Yeah.
which was jolly. But I noticed that's also the end of, I'm forgetting now, Spinning You Around, maybe? And that song, there's a heavy breakdown bit in the same room.
Just copy paste.
I was wondering, like, which came first? Because the
Better Hal did, for
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I was at
Dun,
the house.
dun, dun,
And I was like,
dun.
just throw that in for Better Hell.
Oh, so it was
Better Hal.
first in, where
It
did
was first in Better Hell, and then it's...
Okay, right.
And then-
Yeah, the slow breakdown at the end
You
of
were like,
Spinnin.
what do we put there? And I was like, just copy and paste it.
Oh, yeah, dude.
It's perfect.
Yeah, why try?
Why not? It's perfectly formed. Just replay.
I forgot that was there.
Yeah.
Sick.
Fun details that I notice.
Yeah. Okay, I remember. It's not at the. It's like
right
it's
before-
Within the slow.
It's right before the drop.
Yeah, it's like halfway
Yeah,
through
yeah,
the breakdown.
Yeah. Sounded cool.
Yeah, why not? Great. In terms of yourself and Sleep Token and the match there, I remember you saying in an interview before, I think it was to Finn McKenty, something like, I'm just going to do whatever the fuck I want and see what happens.
Yeah.
And that seems very much in keeping with what Sleep Token, for example, have been doing. Like, when they started, there was no way anyone thought, oh yeah, 9-minute long songs that are half like atmospheric and then really heavy towards the end. That'll really translate to an O2 Arena headliner.
100 million streams.
Like,
yeah.
Poof.
Yeah.
But the quality there is good, and the rest, it makes total sense now, retrospectively. But I'm wondering, have you had any chance to take anything from your tour with Sleep Token, and what
Yes.
you've noticed from them, and like learn from each other, and kind of doubling down on what you're doing and validating that? What's that been like?
I have toured a lot in my life. I've never watched a band that we've toured with as much as I've watched them.
Right.
Because I just genuinely, I don't think, not even close. I'm watching them like almost every night. And not because I'm like, this would be cool for me to do and they would probably like that. It's like, I cannot, like once we finish our set, I'm like, I cannot fucking wait. I have this like 8-song block that are like all my favorite songs. I'm like, I can't wait to go like watch this.
Yeah.
And it's always like 30 minutes after the set, so it's perfect.
Nice.
But I think that Sleep Token are masters at crafting an environment and like a live show from a set list perspective, from a lighting perspective, from just setting a tone that's kind of only they can do. They're the best, and I watch them every night, and I'm downloading things that they do that I'm like, I want to get better at that. Obviously, there's no banter in between songs.
Yeah, there's not even a thank you. It's
I fucking love that. I think it's so cool. And I think for me, obviously I'm going to yap all day long, but like I do think there's points in the set, you know, once we get to headliner where it'd be cool where I step off the stage or something else happens. Reese, Gabi, and X do something. It gives me a break, but it also like is kind of almost a palate cleanser from just nonstop.
a pacing.
Yeah, it's a pacing thing, and I want to get better at pacing. Also, the lighting looks. I'm just like, you know, I want artistic lighting for BILMURI. I want lighting that's obviously.
It'd be a different vibe and atmosphere, I imagine.
Yeah. It'll be probably a little more bombastic, but like the lighting looks that they have are some of the best I've ever seen. So, lots of downloading.
Yeah. No, they're very, very good at what they do.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
pretty sweet.
It's enjoyable to watch them every night for sure.
Yeah.
Especially like 2 or 3 beers deep.
You can just let it absorb the
Yeah.
sound in the show. Yeah.
Just forget that you exist for a little bit. It's nice.
Excellent. I know, minute question I had was, in one of the new songs, I think it might be The End, there's vocal runs by a female vocal on the end. Is that Gabi doing
Yeah.
vocals? Sounded like Whitney Houston. It's
Well,
absolutely unreal.
She would love that.
Yeah, that's wild.
I feel like that makes the song really special. I think the song's like good, and then her being on it makes
It
it
crescendos it like
yeah,
towards the end.
it's like adds that extra layer of energy that's really cool that I couldn't do that. Imagine.
Not yet.
Yeah, I work really hard. No, yeah, it makes the song that much sweeter.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Gabi.
That's sick. Very good to know. So, I know you've got lots of things to do today, logistics.
I really
and tour.
don't.
Okay, well,
No.
let's just shut now. I'm sure you've got a sound check coming up. What can we perhaps expect in future? Like you seem a very prolific songwriter and releaser. I don't know if things will change with Columbia and what their expectations might be, but what's kind of coming up that you might be able to share, or is it just wait and
Columbia
see?
lets me do my thing, man. So that was kind of the deal. They're like, hey, we want you to do your thing, and we just want to help. So that's been nice. But honestly, like I've got this idea for a sound in my head, and I haven't had time to get it, and I can't explain what it is. But I know it when I hear it.
Has that happened before? 'Cause
Yeah,
I'm
for
wondering
motorsports.
Right.
I was like, it's like Florida-Georgia line, but not like Florida-Georgia line, but like heavy and Midwest emo, but like...
Because when you introduce something like a steel pedal, is that what it's called? No,
Pedal steel.
Pedal steel, that's the one. Are you thinking, oh, that's a cool instrument, how do I incorporate this? Or are you thinking that's a sound you want and you eventually find the thing that can make it happen?
Well, it feels, in my head, there's like different roles in a song, like obviously bass, guitar, drums, and vocal. And then you have like ear candy. And you can, for a long time I would use synth as ear candy. And then I was like, pedal steel is way better ear candy in my mind. So it just kind of like swapped, you know, what synth was to now, like, or ambient guitar.
Yeah.
I was like, pedal steel will now fill that role. And then, you know, banjo, or maybe previously that would have been the synth or a guitar or whatever. But I think like banjo, violin.
Your violin on, talking to your guys.
Yeah, banjo, fiddle, dobro, pedal steel are all ear candy. And I was like, I want organic ear candy on American Motorsports. And then, yeah, the new sound, it's very much the same thing where I'm like, I have it. I cannot explain it. I know it's there, and I know it's fucking sick, but like, I need time to just like find it, like R&D, or like it's not even find it. It's like I know it when I see it and find how to get there,
right?
More reliably. What is it that I'm looking for? But yeah, it'll be fucking awesome.
Well, I'm excited to find out what that is whenever it is. And so you're returning back again in March for the UK and Europe tour. Looking forward to that as well. Thank you very much for your time.
Oh, yeah.
Good luck with the set tonight. Looking forward to that.
Thank you. It's going to be fun.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Well, there you have it. That was a conversation with none other than Johnny Franck of BILMURI. That was a long time in the making. I still can't quite believe that actually managed to come together before the O2 Arena gig of Sleep Token and BILMURI. That completely blew my mind. What a lovely human being he is. So genuine and friendly and lovely, and really, really interesting conversation. What a dream. What a dream. And I'll make sure to put some links in the description of this very episode so you can check out BILMURI's social media, find out what they're doing music-wise in future and their tours and the rest. Keep in touch that way. There's also a Discord server of mine if you want to chat to me about the podcast or music in general. That's a great place to come and hang out. If you enjoyed this, make sure you subscribe to this channel. There'll be plenty more interviews in future with amazing musicians and rock music industry professionals and the like. So hopefully you enjoyed this episode. I normally say like as much as I did. You couldn't possibly have enjoyed it as much as I did. That was absolutely amazing. What a treat. Thank you for tuning in anyway. Hope you have a lovely day. Maybe I'll see you in another episode really soon.